Okay, that guy talks movies, and in this quick episode, I want to talk about a trending topic. It's been trending for a while now, which is the recasting of T'Challa for Black Panther in the Black Panther movies. Now, we've got Wakanda Forever coming out. It's one of the things that prompted me to do this video because when I just saw Black Adam, saw the new trailer for Wakanda Forever. It looks pretty dope. Looks, interesting. But, the whole time you're watching it, you're scratching your head. You're like, man, this just could have been done differently. Now, that's not to say I have issue with like some of the things that I can see they're going to be doing with maybe Shuri playing Black Panther or this one playing Black. Like, I'm just against that entire, I guess, direction in what they're going with the movie, where multiple people could play Black Panther, right? That whole thing kind of bothers me. And to back up and go to my original sentiment on this, I did a video on this channel a while ago on the recasting of T'Challa, and it wasn't dedicated specifically to that. It was more, I was chiming in on some of the hostility or anger at there were other YouTubers that were talking about, okay, they're not recasting T'Challa, so now what? Like, how are they going to show his death, and how are they going to deal with his death in the actual movie? Like, what are they going to do in this next Black Panther, right? And some of the people from, the Recast T'Challa movement, if you will, that side were like angry at those people. And I just chimed in on the idea, like, look, there's no point in being angry at them because they're just asking the question. They kind of looked at it from the perspective of, look, they're not going to recast him. We want them to recast him. They're not going to. So let's move on and see what are they going to do next, right? Anyway, in that video, I did express my support for hashtag Recast T'Challa, but I didn't do a dedicated video to it. So that's what this is about. A quick video where I talk about the obviousness of, Lupita Nyong'o recently came out. I guess this was, last week. And she talked about it, and her thing was, her support was with Marvel. It's a beloved character. That it's not the death of Black Panther, that's the whole point. She told the Hollywood Reporter, it's laying to rest T'Challa and allowing for real life to inform the story of the movies. I know that there are all sorts of reasons why people want him to be recast, but I don't have the patience, I don't have the presence of mind, or I don't have the objectivity to argue with that. I don't. I'm very biased. And Winston Duke chimed in on this, and, they're all mourning the loss of their brother Chadwick Boseman, as we all are, and all, as we all did initially and all continue to do. And I don't know when the decision was made or how early on that decision was made. I don't know if it's a terrible thing to say, but I would imagine that studios of that magnitude, playing at that level, they probably have contingency plans in place in case they lose somebody like their lead character. I mean, that would just make sense from a business standpoint, right? Production standpoint. I'm almost positive they already had some sort of direction. I wonder if it was all along to do this. I don't think it would be, but I wouldn't be shocked. I'm a little disappointed in the rush to decision, where it just seemed like, we're going to mourn Brother Boseman. And I don't expect that the moment he's laid to rest, that all of a sudden they recast somebody. All right, let's move on, guys. Call time 4 a.m. Right? I didn't expect that, but I think there should have been some much more consideration and a much more effort to really think this through. The actual character in the comic books, and I'm not the comic book expert here. I won't even play myself and act like, but I do know, and from what I understand from people who read comic books, people I know into that stuff, this is not, T'Challa doesn't die off and they just hand the mask and the suit to every other person in Wakanda, and that's how it works. It's this like community character. T'Challa should have kept going, right? T'Challa should have kept going. And this other thing about it being Chadwick Boseman's role, he made it his own. That's true for a lot of characters. Jack Nicholson played the hell out of the Joker, okay? Till Heath Ledger came along, right? No, I'm partial to, I actually enjoy both of them, and I'm just a big Nicholson fan, and that original Batman meant something to me at that time. So it holds a place for me. And they were kind of played differently, right? So How many Bonds? There've been 6 actors to play James Bond. Connery is thought of as like the original Bond. He set the standard. He set the tone for many people, especially from that generation. He was a definitive Bond until Daniel Craig came along, of course, right? Who is now what I consider the definitive Bond, but I'll get into that in another episode. But yeah, they have 6 Bonds. You kept the character going. James Bond is James Bond, right? Spider-Man, how many Spider-Mans have there been? Superman, there's been multiple. Christopher Reeve died. They did more Supermans. Christopher Reeve, for me, was the definitive Superman. I didn't even want to see Superman. I didn't want to see Christopher Reeve doing any other movies at that time. Like to see him outside of Superman bothered me, right? Same thing with Henry Cavill. Like, I like Henry Cavill. But like, I kind of wish he'd just stay as Man of Steel. Like, just stay like that. I don't want to see you doing other movies. Anyway, that's my thing, right? But I get the fact that these actors define these roles in such a way that it becomes so memorable and so ingrained in our psyche and who that person is and how well they played the part. Yes, you got to show that respect. You got to show that love for Chadwick Boseman doing this and for the biggest, solo, movie in the Marvel franchise. Like, this is a big deal. But another actor could have picked that up, and another actor could have, the same way they are claiming to honor him and his memory by not recasting him, you could have honored and served his memory by picking it up and saying, hey, listen, you're going to pick this up. It's a heavy weight on your shoulders. I know you got a tough act to follow, but you can do it. Could have been done. What do you think? Now, that brings me to one of the other things that sort of compelled me to do this video when I'm watching Black Adam. Aldis Hodge. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one to notice that he would be a magnificent Black Panther. I saw him on screen in Black Adam, and I know I've seen him in other movies, but seeing him in this DC movie and under that light, in those circumstances, I said, this guy'd be a fantastic Black Panther. I mean, who's with me on that one? I was like, why didn't they anyway, the other thing to consider here, and the other possibility in the world of comic book movies and creativity, whatever that is nowadays. The idea, and I think Winston Duke hit on it when he was talking about this, is the idea of these parallel universes, multiple universes, other universes, this whole multiverse thing going on. It's quite possible, maybe, I guess from a story perspective, to bring T'Challa back, and they'll do the recasting at that point. I guess the third Black Panther, maybe, or maybe the surprise in this one, and we find out T'Challa is not dead, and they do that recast. I think that would be a more awkward way to handle the recasting, but it's a possibility. It might be a bone too late thrown to satiate, satisfy, and to ultimately fulfill the wishes of people who know better and people who wanted to see this recast before they did Wakanda Forever. But anyway, I'm rambling now. I just wanted to get my thoughts here on camera and on this video and talk about it and see what you guys think about it. If you haven't weighed in, if you want to leave your comments and let me know what you think about it. Also, first, let me know if the Aldis Hodge comment I made is, do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? Can you see that? Or who would you think would play Black Panther? And again, we know it'd be difficult to fill the shoes of Chadwick Boseman because he set the tone. He set the standard. He was the first one. But it's happened plenty of times before with other characters. Let's honor the comic book. Let's honor that story and that world, right? Without just redefining it for our own, which is kind of what Lupita made this comment. One more thing about her, this comment that it's mirroring real life or something like that, or the story should it didn't make any sense to me, but hey, they're all on board. They're all doing their thing. I also do wonder, and forgive me if there's an answer to this. So I do wonder how much Ryan Coogler versus, Kevin Feige and like the studio and the execs and the powers that be and such. I wonder who made the final decision or what direction Ryan Coogler was going when he sat at that table when they had this. Was it at a table? Was there a decision made? Was he part of the conversation? Was it his choice ultimately? Who made the final thing, right? I don't know. Who put the nail in the coffin, to so to speak, to say that they're going to kill T'Challa in the movie. Anyway, I'll get into Wakanda Forever when that comes out. I think it's coming out next month. We'll see what happens. I'm not really talking about the trailer too much. But it looks good. I hope the CGI and the action is a little bit better, but we'll see what happens. That's it for me on That Guy Talks Movies. I just wanted to talk about that. Again, if you have not subscribed to this channel and you want to talk movies and hear me talk movies and talk streaming and collecting movies and Criterion Collection stuff, 4K stuff, all that stuff, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I truly appreciate that. Hit the like button. Do not forget to hit the like button. Bam, smash it, punch it, click it, whatever you want to do. It helps the algorithm here with YouTube and it helps me, continue to make these videos. So that's it for me on That Guy Talks Movies. I will see you on the next one. Peace.